he have it? And everybody talks in very high pitches.
Commander Day player, a mean guy. Today's Lowery Smith, mean die. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. That's all I'm gonna do. I just got.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes, I couldn't do.
What am I supposed to?
You don't know that? Modern day warrior, mean. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Today's Tom Sawyer.
Well, so Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
But I don't know the band.
What? It's news. That's the reason why I'm doing the song today. I did that
News?
song. Like news this week. The drummer died.
Oh, so it's Rush.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, I don't really know them very well.
Oh, I love Rush. But there's only like a handful of songs. You get into their like deeper.
Well, they're older than we are.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you get into their deeper stuff, and it's like, well, this isn't a good song.
Which happens a lot with art.
But their 5 bangers are bangers. They're freaking sweet. So. Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
All right. 99.
Episode 99. We
one
are
away
one
from
more.
100. I wonder what happens
exciting.
on 100.
Yeah, it's so exciting once we get there.
Episode 99. Today we're doing what everybody else is probably doing this week, and we are...
Spoilers.
Not spoilers. We're just talking set review.
Set review.
Spoilers are already done.
I know, but that's all I know how to say.
Spoilers.
Did you see those spoilers from War of the Spark? That was sweet.
They were sweet. Back when we did them last year. Probably around this time?
No,
it was another month or so.
Yeah.
But first, let's get to some of the stuff. We have quite a few things that happened this week. We did
We did a poll on Twitter.
That's what I was trying
for
Thanks,
the
Larry.
CS giveaway.
CS giveaways.
Is that what we called it?
Giveaways, or are we
Giveaway.
doing hashtag give it away now?
That's
are we
really
doing
long.
give it aways
That's really
or
long.
giveaway?
Giveaway.
Okay,
Goddamn
so
S's.
hashtag
That didn't even exist.
hashtag. We're doing this on the fly, as you guys can tell.
No, we are always super planned out.
Hashtag
shows.
CS giveaway. I almost feel like it needs the S in
Giveaways?
there. Yeah, giveaways.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
it's
I mean, that is true
multiple
because I'm going to be giving away some really shitty sleeves. I mean, they look good,
No, they
but
don't.
they're old. They're a decade plus.
So
easily.
that won't have a hashtag, or you can
I'll take a picture.
Hashtag win Lowry's shitty sleeves.
Yep. And anybody who's entering into retweeting for what won the poll.
Oh yeah. So it was actually really close. So early on in the voting, Fabled Passage was like by far the most. And then probably
Rift gave it a push.
Yeah, 3 days into it, Rift kind of pulled ahead, and then it ended. Rift won at 41%, Fable Passage at 39%, and Atraxa was at 20%.
It's close.
Yeah, so it's quite. So
other than Atraxa, like I was actually thinking that would be it's the most popular commander.
Yeah, but everybody probably has it.
Yeah, but people are like, I don't even. I'm guessing they just don't want the proxy.
Oh, you think it's that bad? Thanks, Larry. Such a douche.
So, but
that is a pretty cool Cyclonic Rift proxy, I have to say. It's one of my favorites with that lightning bolt.
So if you
and
enter
everything.
into the giveaway, you are also entering in to get potentially get the sleeves.
No,
that's how we're doing it.
We're doing it that way.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
We're not doing two separate?
No. Fuck that.
Thanks. Then I don't have to design it. Exactly. That actually helps me.
If you're entering into one, you're entering into both.
I like it.
And so again, we're very well planned out.
So when we do this, somebody we're going to record it because we actually got video figured out this week too. So thanks to my brother actually kind of helping me out on figuring that out. But we actually have video that we can start recording now again. But so in that video is what I was going to say is we're going to do the drawing. Somebody's going to be like, yeah, this is awesome. I won. And then the next drawing is going to be, oh, I won Lowry's sleeves.
Sweet. Sweet.
But yeah, again, it
might only be 99 as well. I got to find the 100th.
No, you don't need the 100th one because you have to have it a different card.
Everybody else puts it in the same sleeves and then they like put it into like a hard case. And so that's completely separate. That's not what I do. What I do is I find like a different sleeve so it doesn't get shuffled in and you can find it easier. Right. But I think a lot of people like their 100. So you might get fucked.
No, just give them a different sleeve then.
Just 100 sleeve randomly in there?
Cyclonic Rift and the proxy you'll get with this. We will be posting this week the tweet that you need to retweet.
To enter in.
You need to follow us. And I think
you have to
and
be
like
following
it.
us.
So we need those 3 things. And I'll put it on there as well. So just do those 3 things.
Okay.
Only once. That's all I got to do it. We will post it multiple times this month because it's just for this month. But all you have to do is once. You get your name in once for the drawing. Yep. And
this is really just like a thank you card to everybody that...
A thank you card?
To everybody that listens. That's a joke.
You love thank you cards.
Yeah, I love them.
Did you get anything?
Besh is the only one that supports me. Everybody else is just like, Lowery's an asshole.
What a douche. But okay, so again, it is actually saying thank you because this is for being, making last month our most downloaded, and we're on track, the same track for this month. So hopefully we have another giveaway next month. Mm-hmm. If we don't, that means we suck and you guys hate us.
What? No. We'd never even said that when we started at 20.
We'll just cry if we don't beat next month. We'll just be like, oh, we didn't beat it.
Well,
I beat it multiple times.
I'll beat January off no matter what. So,
wham. We both did masturbation jokes. Yeah. You talked over mine, so no one heard mine. Yours was better.
I'm much more
mine
embarrassed.
Mine was more dirty. All right, let's get into the other thing. So patron, we have a new patron this week.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smart.
Taylor Smart.
Yep.
You rock.
You can't do that again. We already did that joke.
I know. But it's hard to do that.
How about we say you're...
Super. You're a lucky ducky.
Super. We can do that. That sounds right.
You're lucky ducky. You lucky ducky.
I don't know why you're lucky, but...
Because you're supporting this cast. Needs lots of support.
Thank you.
We need some help. Okay.
We need plenty of help.
Is this going to be just the giggle episode?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long episode since it's a set review.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. We got to get to that. All right, okay.
Good luck. You can always email us songs because Adam's starting to struggle, obviously.
What are you talking about? I've done 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Struggling.
Last week I didn't even change the words, and then this week I just did a verse. Man, that was hard to do, even just that verse.
If you guys find the songs pointless, Adam's asked me twice in last month, just going how long do we do this?
I was like, I don't know if people actually enjoy us doing those songs. And I think our intro song to our podcast is a good intro enough where we could just start the cast with us talking, being like, hey, welcome to CommanderSmiths. So that was okay. Now we're doing on-air production.
I know. Now. I'm just thinking. My thought is if I put as much work into the podcast as I did the songs, it'd be a much better podcast.
Yeah, well, if I don't have to spend 2 hours trying to write 4 lines, I can use that for the freaking podcast. But that's the thing is we've never gotten any feedback from that. I mean, it's funny to us trying to figure it out, but I don't know if you guys enjoy it. So if you do enjoy it, let us know.
Oh, we could do a Twitter poll.
Oh, we could. Oh, that's a good idea.
Boom. Idea.
There it is. And if you guys vote it no, do we just cancel it? Although we already recorded last week and we did a song. So
I mean, we can have this be a month long.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know.
So you guys are the fate of our start of our show. If you like how we sing, we've come up with 100 different songs.
No. You copied it one time.
That was Adam. That was number 2's fault. He did it, and he said we need to have a catalog. No, that's another thing we put up. That's some more work we have to do. Put a catalog of all the songs. We could do that, but I don't know if I want to.
Probably not.
Okay, and then Patreon is the way you guys can support us, like Taylor Smart did, and help us keep improving our show, like our new sound that we just got over the last couple months, or last month or whatever. Next is getting new video equipment and everything like that. You also get a bonus of if you want proxies when you become a patron, you get that.
Yep.
Again, with that, next month, if you're a patron, you can get any of the proxies that we've made over the last year that we've been doing it. So, not year doing the podcast, but we didn't start this. It was a year ago now. So, I think that's it for all our stuff, right?
Cool.
Oh, no. YouTube.
Damn it.
Go to YouTube. Subscribe there, and we're going to have videos starting again. So go there. That's the free way to support our show. So if you don't have any money to support us that way, subscribe to us is the way to help us in that end. So, all right. Episode time?
Finally.
Adam just stopped talking.
I did not say that.
God, you're such a dick.
I implied it. I'm sorry.
Cool story, Hansel.
So we're going to just kind of run through a list. We're not going through all of them because that's way too many cards. We are still going through
we're going through most of
cards. We're going through cards.
We spent 20 minutes going through this list going, we should cut this. We only cut like 8.
Yeah, we cut.
And we're like, wow.
We're at 85 and then
let's just get this done. Yeah. Let's start moving on this.
So some of them we might just blow through them because it's like, okay, they're good cards. Yeah, like Larry just blew the mic.
That's kind of a little bit bad because like now you can hear it when I make my little comments. You can actually hear them.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a good point because there's a lot of times I wouldn't catch that until I'm listening and editing. I'm like, oh, I missed when Larry said that, but now I can actually hear you say it. All right. Well, you want to start off with the first one? No, I'll start off because it's on my side.
I can't read.
So Archon of Sun's Grace. So we'll start with white cards and then we'll go through all the different colors and then the multicolors at the end. This is 2 and 2 white, 3/4 flying, lifelink Archon. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. So there goes your Pegasus commander right there.
It's not legend,
but it's not legendary, so it's just there.
Fuck all.
What is it? Consolation. So it's whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. So it's interesting. You get 2 2s, and it's a 3/4 flying lifelink for 4. That's not bad. Considering what Sarah Angel was for this same amount of mana. And that
Sarah Angel was 5.
Oh, it was 5. It was 3. Yeah. And so it even worse. It got vigilance.
This goes like infinite where you need something to disrupt it. And I believe it's Enchanted Evening. So it turns everything enchantments. You have an enchantment enter the battlefield, continue to make it. But it just keeps going unless you can disrupt it somehow.
So then you can tie the game. Sweet. Good plan.
What's wrong with that?
All right, let's go into one of our sagas. I like this saga a lot.
The Birth of Meletus, white colorless saga. First one: search your library for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Token 2: create an 0/4 colorless wall token with defender. 3: gain 2 life.
I just like it for the first one. For a 2-drop,
agreed.
Searching for a plains card, because it does say basic, so you can't go get your dual lands or anything like that. But 2 to go do that, and then on a bonus on it, you get an 0/4 jump blocker.
And gain 2 life. Like, would you put this in your Arcades deck?
No.
Because it creates an 0/4 wall, which would draw you a card. You'd gain 2 life, and you'd put a planes from your library into play.
Maybe, yeah.
I guess where do you think you would want to play this? It'd be mono white. I think wants this for sure. Like just being able to get.
It doesn't need to be a wall specific. I think the wall part and the life stuff is just the bonus part. It's really more of helping you get mana. So if you're playing like with green, you're going to use all the mono ramp stuff from green. You're not going to use this at all. But if white's by itself and you're like with white red or something like that, definitely use this one.
I can agree.
Next one is
Eidolon of Obstruction.
Thank you. I couldn't actually see it over there. You go ahead and read that
colorless
one.
Colorless white. It's a 2/1 first striker. Loyalty abilities of planeswalkers your opponents control cost 1 more to activate.
That's interesting. I like it just for screwing people over.
Screwing us over with your...
No, I like it because it adds, if you're going against people playing planeswalkers, adding an actual cost to making them use their loyalty abilities sucks. That's not as easy to go in. I mean, 1 is not that detrimental, but it adds up with your something that's supposed to be free, being able to activate. So it seems interesting.
I mean, there's an enchantment suppression field that makes all activated abilities cost 2 more. That's something that I don't play because I run fetches. It kills mana rocks, and so this is very specific. And so for me, like, do you run Nicol Bolas or Elder Spell from War of the Spark to like kill all the planeswalkers in your deck? For me, this is like too specific for something that's just not going to. Like you might see 1.
Yeah. No,
I just like would that affect the board enough to be good enough?
And the other part of it is it depends on your play group, but we don't see a lot of people playing planeswalkers. Normally there is a couple that get out in a game, but we don't see a ton of them out. But if your play group tends to play with a lot of planeswalkers, then I see this card being used. Next one is Elsbeth Conqueror's Death. Or Elsbeth Conquers Death, not Conquerors. It is 3 and 2 white. It is a saga. The first one is exile target permanent opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So that's pretty sweet for a commander in itself. Like you're going to kill a lot of things, you know. The second one, the second level is non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And then 3 is return target creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on it or a loyalty ability on it, or loyal counter on it. Loyalty ability on it. You just add an ability that it doesn't have.
Yes. That'd be great.
For
whatever
5,
you want.
5 is interesting with the 3 on there. It's interesting that for one turn you're screwing your opponents on casting spells, and then it's potentially bringing back something.
It is expensive and too specific on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if your opponents just don't care about casting non-creature spells?
Yeah,
then they're just like creature. Yeah, like so that's. You got to make sure that, like, exiling a creature with power 3 or greater, like, that's pretty specific as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's way too specific.
It's a permanent.
Oh, permanent?
Yeah, exile target permanent and opponent controls.
Of 3 or greater.
Yeah, I like that because you can hit so many things with that. Yeah, and then you have a return ability that not only does it not go to your hand, it goes right into play. So that's kind of nice in itself. The middle one is like, okay, we're going to add something in there that might affect somebody for a turn. And
yeah, I almost feel like I would have liked it if it was just like 1 and 2 for like 4. Yeah, I'd like that better.
Wizards, let's change it.
Let's get a errata on that.
I'll do the next one because then we're going to jump over there. We got our first planeswalker, Elsbeth, Sun's Nemesis, and this is 2 and 2 white, 5 loyalty, Elsbeth. All of them minus abilities. I think, did we talk about this when they were first spoiling? Yeah, so they have this one has the alternate art, which is kind of cool. All the planeswalkers are...
Oh, this isn't normal art.
Yeah, no, but they do have alternate art with these, which is pretty sweet. So the -1 is up to 2 target creatures you control, each get 2+1 until end of turn. -2, create 2 1/1 human white soldier creature tokens, or you -3, gain 5 life. Kind of meh. But the reason why we want to talk about this one, I probably won't play with it, but the escape part, like having a planeswalker, the only one that has an escape on it, you tap 4 and 2 white, and it's exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, and you can bring it back into play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool because you can keep repeating, getting your Elsbeth out, even if it gets killed or whatever. But it's 3 abilities for me is like,
The tokens are the only ones where I'm thinking like, that could be interesting where you go
2 turns,
pay
you make 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 1/1s.
And if you have like an anointed procession in play, you're doubling those up. That could be all right. And just being able to bring it back. But yeah, all of them, like the -3 to gain 5 life.
What?
5 life is pretty good if you're playing Kenrith and paying like 1 white mana.
And doing it multiple times.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Sweet, but just, yeah.
But this on here, I don't know. Because like, normally you want a planeswalker to be able to protect itself to a rough degree, and that's what your tokens would be doing, but you're not like plussing for anything. You don't have any real ultimate.
Yeah.
Like it probably just isn't powerful
just
enough.
More showcasing that escapability and having it on a planeswalker.
Yeah. Because I'd much rather have like the original Elsbeth Knight Errant that like pluses everything.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, that's way better.
Yeah. All right, our first god.
Heliod, Sun Crowned, 2 colorless white, 5/5, legendary enchantment creature. God. It's indestructible, and then the fuck all. Devotion has to be
the fuck all.
The fuck all has to be more than 5 for it to be a creature.
That's what devotion means to you? Just fuck all?
Fuck all. I couldn't remember it. I wasn't reading. I was trying to skip it, like cut time.
And then said you made it extra long because now we're making comments on it.
That's I think that's the charm of our show.
It's a Lowery trick 101 right there.
Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control, which is weird wording. But also you can pay colorless white, another target creature you control gains lifelink until end of turn.
Infinite combo where?
Walking Ballista, give it lifelink, continue to just put +1/+1 counters on it, ping, ping, ping. People are talking about doing this in Modern. I mean,
who plays Modern
or
anymore?
Pioneer? I mean, it works everywhere. Yeah. So the cards.
That's why Walking Ballista kind of went crazy.
Yeah, and this card continues to go up as well.
There was a lot of stuff in this set that, like, all these infinite combos happen. You know, like the one that I spec'd on.
Shielded by Faith.
Yeah, that one working with...
we'll get to that one.
Yeah,
Green, white,
down
legend.
at the bottom, the commander. All right, then we have a set of intervention stuff, which we're not going to each. We'll do each color when we get to it, but we got Heliod's intervention, which is the white one. It's 2 white and X instant, which that's why I like all of them are instants with this. And I like that you get to choose one of these. So one of them is, let's do the one that's not as good. Target player gains twice X life. That's your X, or destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments. That's sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever use the life gain unless
it's a life gain deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Double or like life with that. That's pretty sweet. And if you had what is it? The doubling life enchantment, and then there's the creature that also does it.
Rock's Faith Mender.
Yeah. And then there's but then there's the one that doubles your life, and it's the enchantment, and then if you have over 50 life, you win the game.
Test of Faith?
Something like that.
Testament? Something. Yeah, I mean, there's that. There's the like the life gain could be really good because there's the enchantment that if you gain life, it drains people. So you could
most likely you're using this in your white decks to
control artifacts and enchantments.
And mainly, for sure, I guess in my mind is more of I'm shooting down all those soul rings and all the artifacts, mono rocks and everything, and you're hitting multiples, which is sweet. And you get to pick it. You know, it's not hitting your stuff. You're hitting everything.
And I like the flexibility that it's not just enchantments and or artifacts. Like being able to do either or is really nice.
Yeah. All right. Why don't you start us off with one of our first Omens, which is a common.
Yeah. Omen of the Sun, 2 colorless white. It has flash and it's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens and you gain 2 life. Then you can pay 2 colorless white, sacrifice Omen of the Sun, and scry 2.
Which all of the Omens will have that ability. I like that part of it is the sacrifice. You know, you play it, it does its thing. Now here's a bonus, sacrifice it because you're not going to use it anymore because the enchantment doesn't do anything. I like that. I like that it's flash, adding that to it.
Yeah, like
all the Omens. I like that they're common because then you can have tons of these because these are just good.
It seems, they seem like really good value. So all of the Omens.
Why don't you hit the last one there for
Shatter the Sky. 2 colorless, 2 white, sorcery. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures.
So this just like basically kills Wrath of God and Day of Judgment. Is just better?
No.
But it helps other people.
It's worse.
You think it's worse? What if you're specific, but most likely people are going to probably have bigger creatures. So
this is,
giving them
this
a card
is worse.
as well. So you don't see playing this over those two?
A lot of people have complained about like this being like this is Green's Wrath because you're going to have a 4 power creature easier than anybody else, and then you're the one drawing the card. And it's kind of like, like having other people draw cards is bad. Like, could have been nice if it was just white you? And like if you had a creature, if you had a creature that was, and again, 4 or more is like a green thing, and less power is more of a white thing. So like Enter the Meek whenever. So if it was like 2 or less and you had it, you could draw a card. That'd be a very, very playable, good
or if
Wrath.
They comboed it with the saga we talked about, and if you have a wall.
Well,
an 0-4 wall.
But that's just I don't like this. This is just kind of bad.
All right, then we have, let's see if I can do this. Taranika.
I like it.
Aronin.
A Crowan.
Oh yeah. Let's just skip a K.
It's silent.
Veteran is 1 and 2 white. This is a legendary creature, human soldier, so this can be a commander. 3/3 vigilance. The reason why this is kind of a unique card is whenever it attacks, untap another target creature you control until end of turn. That creature has base power 4/4 and gains indestructible. So you can be attacking with, shit stuff, but it untaps it and also makes it indestructible, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it seems like it keeps all those abilities that it had before. It just gains indestructible.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, I was thinking like it'd be kind of cool in my Oketra deck where instead of a 3/6, it's a 4/4 indestructible double strike, and it's untapped for the next turn. Like that could be really cool. or something with flying that is unblocked, or like, it kind of gives it that pseudo vigilance.
And it does say another creatures you will not be able to do this on this because it has vigilance anyway. So why would you untap it?
Well, you'd like to give it an indestructible potentially. So that's a pretty big downfall that it has to attack for that trigger. I think this happens for a lot of legends in this set, and we're going to skip some, but probably better in the 99 somewhere.
Yeah. Normally we actually don't list the legends when we do our set review, but in this, there wasn't a lot of commanders in this set where I'm like, oh, I want to build the deck. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a few of them where I'm like, that'll be sweet. But for the most part, a lot of these I feel like are better as 99 instead of the commander.
Yeah.
All right. Is it me on this one?
You go. Caliph, Beloved of the Sea.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for reading that. 1 and 2 blue, legendary enchantment creature. So again, you can have this as
Demigod.
The Demigod has star 3, where its power is equal to your devotion to blue. And then creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target them cost 1 more to cast. So it's a smaller Frost Titan and 1 less mana for that, in a way. Although Frost Titan's just Frost Titan.
Yeah.
So this kind of is cool that it targets all your creatures.
And it can be pretty big power if you're in like a mono blue deck.
If this is your commander,
you just plop it down and it's a 8/3. I mean, like the 3 power makes it kind of meh, but or toughness.
Yeah, I got you.
Whatever.
They
don't.
One of those things that's in the front and the back. All right, why don't you hit the next one? We can move quick on that.
Kiora, Best the Sea God. 5 colorless, blue saga. It's mythic. And its first one is create an 8/8 blue Kraken token.
The Kraken!
With hexproof. Second one is tap all enchanted permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during the controller's next untap step. So if you want to fuck somebody.
Yeah, especially in a commander game.
Yeah,
your stuff stays tapped for 2 turns. Sorry.
It's going to tap. And so, like, strategically, you almost want to do it to the person to the right of you, and then just taps all of their stuff, and then everybody after you gets to attack them,
and then they get to attack
them again. That's how I would think of it.
What a dick, Lowery.
And then the last one, which is the third one, gain control of target permanent and opponent controls, untap it.
That's pretty sweet.
It's doing some stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
for Mythic, I think
you're paying 7 and making an 8/8 right there is pretty good by itself, and then you got these 2 other things that are good too.
Yeah, and like I can see myself if I wanted to up my CMC for the Alila deck, that's an enchantment, creates tokens, so like potentially get 2 of the Krakens off of Anointed Possession, potentially, but it just opens up, and being able to get through with your gang on that second turn seems pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Get through with your gang. All right. Metamize Prophecy. This is 1 and 1 blue. This is another saga. First one is Scry 2. Second one is choose a card name. Third one is whenever you cast a spell of the chosen name, for the first time this turn, draw 2 cards. And then the fourth one is look at the top card of each player's library. So I'm really focused on, I like the Scry 2. This is an uncommon, by the way. The first one, Scrying 2 for 2. That's pretty decent in itself. And of course, you're going to name a card from your hand. And then when you play that card, you get to draw 2. So I think that's pretty decent. The other parts are like, whatever. But let's keep on moving.
Yeah, I don't plan on playing that at all.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to play it. I just think it's interesting.
I don't know if it's interesting either. Nadir, Kraken, colorless blue for a 2/3.
It's a small Kraken to start off.
Kraken. Yeah, that's kind of nice. That's makes it interesting. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on it and create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token.
That's okay. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you're making a tentacle as a creature, like how is just one tentacle?
That's kind of true.
You kill, it should say if this dies, all the tentacles die.
That'd be
because you're making a tentacle.
Like Chasm Skulker is like that, like it makes squids. So they're probably trying to make it a little bit different. But
you know what I'm saying? Like you're making a tentacle, and then when this dies, you would think that all those tentacles would be dead too, because it's just like getting bigger and it's getting more arms and everything reaching out.
Yeah, I agree that
it's fine.
It doesn't work. I think it's a good card.
Yeah, it's a good
let's
card.
Go with that.
Yeah.
With the technicalities
exactly.
A tentacle creature.
Yeah. Where's its brain?
I don't know enough. If you chop off a tentacle of whatever has tentacles, does it it kind of squirms and keeps moving? Is it supposed to be like
a worm? You cut the worm in half and both sides are moving or whatever?
Because have multiple hearts in your tentacles? This seems like a weird conversation.
How does the tentacle
here.
eat?
This is a good card, by the way.
Yeah.
But
we're really breaking this down.
I don't think we understand.
They just missed something in here.
I mean, have you ever eaten Kraken? No. I'm just curious.
It's real?
I mean, it's just like a big octopus, isn't it? I don't think Omen of the Sea. Colorless blue enchantment with flash. So this is the common Omen cycle. When Omen of the Sea enters the battlefield, scry 2, then draw a card. And then you can pay 2 blue, sack it, scry 2.
So would play this much more than I would play Mai's Prophecy that we just talked about. It's 2, it has flash, you're scrying and drawing a card right when it comes in, and then you tap 3 again and scry 2 again. So this is much better, a much better card than...
I can see myself playing this in the deck that I made last week.
Good point. Or is it... Oh, it was last week.
Why am I blanking on the name?
Layla or whatever? Or
Layla?
Is that what it was?
I kept wanting to say Adele. Adela. I was like, that doesn't work.
I can't think of a... Yeah, there we go. I was like, what is an Adele song off the... It should be an easy one. All right. Then we have Fafsa made her return. Deep Dwelling. 3 and a blue legendary enchantment creature god. Indestructible, 6/5. As long as your devotion blue is 5, then it isn't, or 5 or less, it isn't a creature. Or less than 5, sorry. At the beginning of your end step, exile. So this has the blink ability. Did we talk about? I feel like we talked about this one. No, we didn't. But it has at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control. Then return that to the battlefield at the end of your, return it to the battlefield under your control. So it just immediately blinks it. You can tap 3 in a blue, tap another target creature. I don't like this as good as the old Thassa. But the blinking ability is pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I love this card. So another thing that I wish I remember the card name now. It's from the last Theros. It has devotion to blue. Then it creates 1/0 elementals, and it gives elementals +1/+0.
Oh,
or
it's
+1/+1.
That merfolk.
Yeah. So people were asking about Thassa with that merfolk that will not be named on purpose. If you blink that...
Is it like Lord of the Rings Sauron or Harry Potter?
If you blink that merfolk, do all the current elementals that would be 1/0 die? And it sounds like no.
What? You would think it would. Because
so
it immediately comes back in?
Yeah, immediately, I am drinking. Immediately comes back into play. And so that entire action, since it's 1 paragraph, that has to happen before anything else is checked and can happen.
I wonder if you play this online and you do that, if it triggers the other ones like they're about to die, but then it's back in play again.
I have no idea. I don't use computers. Beep,
boop, beep.
But I think that's an interesting thing to think about. So I think it has something to do with the wording and where it's placed. So I think this is a really cool card.
Then you go with Thassa Deep Dwelling. You have Thassa's Intervention. So this is the blue intervention. X and 2 blue instant. One of the abilities is look at the top X cards of your library. Put up to 2 of them into your hand and put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Or you can counter target spell. Its controller can pay X, twice X. To not be countered. So I said that all weird. Counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X.
That's as weird as it's gonna get. But.
So okay, you know me and counter spells. We actually will talk about it next week. This is something I can see playing as it because you have that option of it being a counter spell, but then you're also most likely using it to draw 2 cards. while looking at top X cards. So I like this card a lot.
Agreed. It seems really cool. So even if at 4 mana, which would be like the least amount that you would want to pay for
you just draw 2 cards.
You can just draw 2 cards or have them pay 4. Or 4 is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, exponentially, if you pay 5, they got to pay 6 or else it's countered. And so you're probably countering a spell.
Yeah. And so that's the thing is like, I like having not just straight up, this is just a counter spell. I like the counter spells that have the option. So you have the blue one that we like a lot.
Cryptic Command.
No, besides that one.
Like this seems like a bad cryptic.
Yeah, but the other one is the one where you can choose multiples.
Oh, Mystic Confluence.
Yeah, that one.
Right.
So I like counter spells that you have another option to use and not just be a straight up counter spell.
Agreed.
All right, next one.
Fafsa's Oracle. Jesus. That's a lot of words.
Okay, so it's...
You want to read that one?
Yeah, well, I know off the top of my head, it's... Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue, I believe. Yep, to blue. Mm-hmm. Then you can put one of those on top of your library, and then you put the cards at the bottom of your library in a random order, I'm guessing? Yes, random order. But then the key part of this is if your X is equal or more than what your library is, you win the game.
Yeah, so people are saying this is a replacement for Lab Maniac or the Jace Welder of Mysteries, and really this just goes next to it.
Exactly, because it's not legendary. This is not, it's in your 99, so you're not getting it consistently. It's just making that deck more consistent.
Even as a, just like a card that you're not trying to use as a win con is a pretty dang good card.
Yeah, and the nice thing is it isn't when it gets cast, it's when it enters the battlefield. So you use Thassa's ability and blink this. You can do this multiple times, get more cards.
Yeah, put in a Brago deck or a Rune deck. Like this seems good. Mm-hmm. This seems really good.
All right. Next we have, what do you say that his name? Thryx, the Sudden Storm.
Maybe it's similar to like Styx, like Stix. Thryx.
I like that better. Thryx.
Bam.
Thryx the Sudden Storm, 3 and 2 blue, legendary creature, elemental giant, 4/5, flying flash. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater, cost 1 less, and can't be countered. Whoa!
So, but this is what we were talking about in
next
the future. This is something that allows you to not have your stuff countered, and it does a lot more. Mm-hmm. So, like, it just tacking on the can't be countered and makes it so much better. Well,
there's multiple things with this. Yeah. One, by having flash is pretty sweet because not only you could kill something, somebody's attacking, hey, this guy's out, or you cast something, maybe it's little or whatever, so you have enough mana to do. It's not that expensive, 5 to come out.
Yeah, 4 or 5 you cast something, flash for 5 is pretty good rate.
Somebody goes to counterspell, you flash this in, and that can't be countered, and you just fizzle their counterspell. So it has some different.
You gotta have a lot of mana for doing
that's
that.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
A 2 spell,
I mean, if you can fuck a counterspell player,
fuck them.
You might you might do that. Yeah.
You'll hear next week how we fuck counterspell players.
That's not true.
Number 2.
Wave Break Hippocamp. 2 colorless blue.
I didn't even realize that's what it's named.
Hippocamp. And it's a horse fish creature type. 2 colorless blue for 2/2. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card. Seems sweet.
Rashmi.
Yeah, I mean, perfect in Rashmi. This is like if you can pair blue with a Vial Smasher, I'd be doing that. Seems really cool.
So put that with Thrasios with your Vial Smasher then?
Yeah. I mean, Thrasios with anything. Come on.
Well, you wanted your Vial Smasher, so I was trying to get your blue.
But this also has a little bit of stuff going on with Throne of Eldraine as well, right? Because that was like whenever you draw your second spell.
Oh.
Per turn, you get
when
to
you draw your second spell?
I don't know what it is. Told you I'm drinking.
You're like, because it's snowing here and we're double casting. So we double casted last week. We're double casting this week because Larry's gonna be gone for a couple weeks. And so Larry's like, you want a drink or no? I was like, nah, the drive home tonight might be iffy. He's like, well, I'm just gonna have one, not gonna go crazy. He's on 2 and we still have another.
I got a third one set up.
You just said one.
I was thinking ahead.
Nice. All right, get that black guy.
Shit. Ephemia, the cacophony.
Say that really quick, both all together now.
Ephemia, the cacophony.
What the fuck?
Colorless and a black for 2/1 flyer. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token.
And it can be a commander. It's legendary.
It is a legendary harpy.
You know, we're just going to move on.
Jesus. Yeah.
All right. Elspeth's Nightmare. Another
we just
saga.
read it and we're like, we got to exile an enchantment?
Yeah, out of your graveyard. So you have to be playing an enchantment heavy deck.
Good,
and
right?
Yeah, no.
I might play that in Alila.
But it won't be a commander is what I'm kind of getting at.
No.
99, like we said, a lot of these are the 99. So another saga, 2 and a black. First one is destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Number 2 is target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land, non-creature card, and that player discards it. And then 3 is exile target opponent's graveyard. It's okay. I mean, for 3, it's giving you 3 different things, you know, like they're all completely different. You know, you're getting rid of a card out of somebody's hand. You're potentially killing something with 2 or less. That part, I'm like, I don't see that hitting a lot necessarily. I mean, you're going to hit, but the most important stuff probably is either protected or bigger than that, you know, unless it's a smaller commander. And then you're doing Bajuka Bog to one person.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah. It is an uncommon. So let's move on. I think I'm on this one. Yep. Erebos, Bleak-Hearted, 3 and a black, legendary enchantment creature god, 5/6, indestructible. You know, devotion thing, 5 or less, or
more.
You know, the devotion thing. I'll just screw it up.
Like me. Good job.
Whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Tap 1 and 1 black. Sacrifice another creature. Target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn. I like this a lot because it gives you a sack outlet. At the same time you're sacking something, you can potentially be killing something of theirs. Yeah, maybe
one. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean that's 2 to do it, but you could potentially kill something, and then you're also drawing off of it and losing life.
Yeah.
But I like the sackability of it and potentially killing something at it. You know,
I like that word.
What?
Sackability.
You know,
I'm not super high on this. I get what you're saying with like it kind of feeds into itself, which is nice, but it feels like, okay, so black, colorless, sacrifice a creature to give another creature -2/-1, pay 2 life, and draw a card. It feels like a whole lot of nothing, like almost because like you'd have to almost sacrifice two creatures. That's what I was getting 4 life. But to kill maybe one of their creatures.
But this also says whenever another creature you control dies, it doesn't say non-token, which is nice. So it works in those decks where you're playing a lot of tokens and your creature dies, you can pay 2 life, draw whatever cards. You're not having to tap to do that part, which is nice.
Yeah,
you are losing life, but you can gain it back a lot of times with black.
If that -2/-1 was reversed,
yeah, then you can kill things a little bit.
This would be a legitimate card, but just putting a weakness on it until end of turn,
I think I'm more like thinking about the that going with Teysa kind of thing. One creature dies, and then it can be a token. That was kind of when I built Teysa. The problem I was having was there was a lot of things that say whenever a non-token creature dies, draw a card, and it's like this helps because then you don't have that non-token. You can actually draw a card.
If Phyrexian Arena was during your upkeep, pay 2 life, draw a card, would you play it? Same cost and everything.
Pay 2 life, draw a card?
Instead of pay 1 life, draw a card. Like that's, I mean, not as a triggered ability, but it's at your upkeep, pay 2 life, draw a card. Would that be good?
I would play that.
You'd still play it?
Probably. In Commander, we got a little more life if it's early enough in the game.
Yeah.
Late game it can hurt, but if you have the thing is if I play cards like that you're paying life, besides your fetch lands, you don't count those in, but if you have things that specifically you're paying life, well, then I either have a lot of lifelink stuff in there or I have other ways that I'm gaining that life back because I don't like having...
It can add up.
Yeah, exactly. And I need to have a way to get that back. And if you don't have that and you have this out and it's like, well, fuck, you're killing yourself and you have no way to gain it back. So I guess it depends on the situation. If I'm having something like that in there, most likely I have life gain, so I'll be fine.
Erebus's intervention, X black, instant, choose one. Target creature gets -X until end of turn and gain X life, or exile up to twice X target cards from graveyards.
This one's my probably least favorite out of them.
I thought you'd... Red one?
Did I say that? Oh, yeah, the red one is nice.
This is my fourth least.
Yeah, it's like, right.
I agree. I do like that you're gaining life. So you're like...
killing something and gaining life.
Yeah, so that it seems like a lot of mana, but being able to potentially wreck somebody's graveyard seems pretty cool too. Hold on. Let me...
Up to twice X
from
target.
graveyards. So you
can hit multiples.
Yeah, hit multiple graveyards, which is pretty cool too.
Speaking of graveyards, Gravebreaker Lamia. I like that. 4 in black, 4/4 enchantment creature snake Lamia. Lifelink whenever it enters.
Really, that's a creature type? That seems odd.
Lifelink creature type or Lamia?
No, Lamia.
Lamia. What are we drinking today, Lowery?
None of your business.
Literally not sharing with Adam. 3 different beers.
Dream Yard from Modus. All right. Johnny Alive from whatever week we did that. And then the Dark Fusion.
Uh-oh. We're going to start getting drunk Lowery in the second episode.
I'm going to be a jerk.
Get ready. Listen to 101 after this if you're listening to this later, because you'll see Lowery on the floor. You won't actually see him. You'll just hear him.
Yeah, that'd be odd. Out-of-body experience for them.
All right. Whenever Lamia enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put it in the graveyard, then shuffle your library. And then spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less. So that's interesting.
Seems pretty cool for like flashback, the escape. There's one from Shards of Alara.
Delve? Would Delve work there?
No, Delve is getting rid of...
the top of your library stuff.
No. That's getting rid of cards from your graveyard.
Yeah.
So you're not casting it from... But then there's Shards of Alara, like you're paying...
You're on top of the naming the cards I want to think about today.
Give me a second.
Oh, I need to wait for you to drink the beer? Fuck that. Inevitable End is the next card. 2 and a black. Enchant creature... Actually, this one should be yours, but you were drinking a beer. So I like this one because it's enchant creature. Enchant
like this one.
Creature has this ability. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. So my thought with this one, this is an uncommon, but you put this on their strongest creature that you want to get rid of. They're not going to sacrifice it. They're going to start whittling their stuff down unless they're like, fuck, I can get this back or whatever. Then they sacrifice it, you get rid of the biggest threat. But most likely you put it on the biggest threat and they start killing off their board one by one each turn. Could be kind of slow if you really want to get rid of that threat. This is not that answer. I just think it could be something interesting getting rid of a board a little bit. Yeah. I hate you. Why don't you read the next card? Fuck
you did a good job defending it.
You had no argument with the other.
I thought it was an interesting take that you had there. I wouldn't do it, but
I'm not saying all these are ones that I would do. Most of these I'm just giving ideas to people. That's what triggered when I saw this card. God.
Nightmare Shepherd.
Remember at the beginning of this cast when it was you're drinking and you turned into a dick and that's how the bit started?
Hold on.
I'm going to read your damn cards if you keep drinking when it's your card read. This is going to be a 3-hour long
2
episode.
2 colorless, 2 black, 4/4. Don't threaten like that. People might like it. Enchantment creature demon, flyer, 4/4. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of the creature, except it's a 1/1, and it's a nightmare in addition to its other types. This card's awesome.
Yeah, so I was seeing some Twitter stuff with this. It's kind of interesting if you have this out and your commander dies, because you're going to exile it. So it's moving from one zone to the other. When you go to exile it, then it's moving to another zone. So at that point, then you put it into your command zone. You get another
one. The 1/1 version of your commander.
And it's, But then you can't cast your commander because it doesn't say it loses. It's not legendary.
Yeah, but whenever, what if you're like 1 or 2 mana short, and then you can just continue doing your thing. And then when you can cast a real one, which is potentially bigger, you just go into town with it.
I like this card a lot.
Just think of if you have this out and then somehow somebody sacrifices or makes you sacrifice your like Avacyn, angel that gives everything indestructible. Then you just get an indestructible 1/1 flyer vigilant. Like it's just like sweet.
All right.
Like just think of the like.
I think
really
this goes
cool
in every black type deck.
Whoa!
To save.
Whoa.
Well, no, I mean like to save that you're dependent on your commander being in play. I think that works out really well to have that. It's kind of like a protection spell in a way. It's like having your lightning greaves or something like that. Because they have to kill that again and whatever. So, Omen of the Dead, so the black version. This is only one to come out. Has flash. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's meh. But then again, it has that Scry 2 ability when you sacrifice it. So it's the cheapest.
Just straight better than Raised Dead, right?
Yeah, because it's a 1-drop, the same thing. Flash
enchantment.
Because Raised Dead is sorcery, demotion. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So
gives you devotion, blink ability.
Rest in peace, Raised Dead. R.I.P. RD.
What? Rest in peace is a card. What are you talking about?
I'm saying it's dead now. You have this and replacing it.
Oh, Raised Dead.
Get it?
We're not talking about the card.
No.
Treacherous Blessing.
I thought it was funny because I was like, you're saying rest in peace to something that's
in the graveyard,
dying.
But rest in peace would exile whatever's in the graveyard, so you couldn't.
I'm not talking about rest in peace. I'm not talking about rest in peace. I'm not talking about rest in peace the card. I'm just saying in general, in our English language, rest in peace. You read the fucking card. This is why our episodes are so long.
2 colorless and black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, lose 1 life, and whenever Treacherous Blessing is targeted by a spell or ability, sacrifice it.
So the draw 3 cards is pretty sweet, and then you just got to figure out a way to target it, and it's gone. Decent.
I mean, there's
better cards.
Yeah. Unless you can figure out a way to kind of like abuse the idea, but like paying 3 to draw 3 cards isn't fantastic. Especially with that potential drawback if you can't
get rid of it, just keep losing life.
Yeah, it's like, well,
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, read the next saga, which is okay.
Timmy Calls the Dead. 2 colorless and a black saga. The first and second tokens that are put on it, put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Then you may exile a creature or enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create 2/2 black zombie creature token. And then the third, what are they called? Lore counter.
There we go.
Third lore counter on it.
We've gone through
you
multiples.
can gain X life and scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control.
Yeah, good for a zombie deck.
I would put this in like Sidisi, Brute Tyrant, which is whenever a creature's put into a graveyard, put a 2/2. Like, so if you mill like 10 and 1 creature goes into play or whatever, it's just 1. So like, but it's zombie-ish and it's milling-ish. So it kind of works in that whole realm.
Ish.
So ish.
Yeah, zombie deck will use it. All right, Woe Strider. Whoa. 2 in a black. That's
a good Black Rob song.
It is a whore. Little whore. I was like trying to think of something funny and it did not come.
No,
so I just went back to whore again.
That was super funny. Very, very
3/2. Funny. So this is what is the other one? The 1-drop that we use a lot.
Viscera Seer.
Yeah. So this is another one on top of that because it has the sacrifice another creature, so it can't sack itself. You can scry 1, but when this comes into the battlefield, you get to create a goat, an 0/1 goat creature token. So you have something to sack.
Greatest of all time.
I gotcha.
No, it's not.
But then you also have Escape on it, which is 3 in a black. Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, and it can come back. And then it says when it comes escapes, it gets 2 1/1 counters on it. So this has a lot of stuff going on. The cool thing is Viscera Seer, it tends to get killed because people don't like that free sack outlet and you scrying. This has that ability to come back and keep coming back, and you get, it gets bigger actually. Then you have a 5/4 instead of a 3/2, and each time it comes back, you get a goat, and so I like this card a lot.
Yeah, and agreed. It seems like a really good card. I'm excited to play with this card and just be able to fit it into a ton of black decks. Like I could easily just put this into Vivictus Asmati, creates an 0/1 goat, attack, sacrifice the goat for nothing, and play something off the top of my library. Like, it's just nice to have that easy thing, and then you can always sacrifice. Like, it's just, there's a lot of utility there.
We like free sack outlets.
Yeah, and you can always just sacrifice this and then get your escape. But I mean, like, Invictus Asmati.
Gotcha.
So
this can't sack itself to do that. So
Viscera Seer is better in that regard, where it can sacrifice itself.
Yep. Then we have the Acronin War, which is 3 and a red. First, lore ability is gain control of target creature for as long as you have this. So you have 3 levels here, so you're at least getting it for 3 turns. Or I shouldn't say at least, because somebody could kill it. But at the most, you're getting it for 3 turns. The most, you're getting it for 3 turns. The next lore counter, you get until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack. Attack each combat if able. Then the third one is each tapped creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So this could have been good in Arcades, except Arcades is in red. But it seems pretty sweet because you're tapping everybody down with the second lore ability, and then you're potentially killing them all and not your stuff. And you're gaining control of something for a few turns. And then you make sure that you tap it so it kills itself too when you get to that third one.
And then, I was thinking about this a little bit, and it seems like it would fit really well into Feather, potentially. So, like, there's a wrath that's like each creature deals damage to itself for its power, and there's a very similar effect at the end. You get to steal a creature, and then it's forcing everybody to attack, which is kind of that chaos thing. That's
chaos.
Cool. Yeah. And so I think this is a very interesting, kind of cool card. I think it's worth playing around with. Annex Harden in the Forge. Colorless, red. And then its power is devotion to red, 3 toughness. And then whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you get a creature that can't block, and it's a 1/1. If it had power 4 or greater. You create 2 of those.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Bam. Forget that if.
Cut that.
So I think it's kind of an interesting, kind of cool card. It feels like this could go into, if you have like a black, white, red sacrificing your creatures deck, this could really help out in that. Most of the time, that's just black, white. It's just black, white that really works with that style of deck. But if you're able to squeeze red into that, this fits right in there.
Furious Rise. 2 and a red enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with Furious Rise. I like this.
I think we both really like this. Yeah.
As an uncommon, that's pretty sweet too, because you can get multiples of these guys.
Yeah, and I think this works really well in like mono red or again red white. I think they're kind of helping out red, white, and white a little bit.
I did see something on Twitter. I believe it was from who was that from? Somebody was posting that it might have been Tomer. I think it was Tomer from Goldfish. I think he was saying that white. They have addressed that white needs help, but these
don't plan on seeing that until
next year.
Next year,
yeah, because these sets were planned out before they figured that out, and so white is going to start getting more. It might get better next year.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's like white. People for 8 years are like, white's awful, red's awful. And they just like focus on red. Yeah. Red's at least playable now. Like, even though we made fun of it for the last 2 years, but like white's pretty rough.
All right, Omen. It's you.
Omen of the Forge. It's a colorless red enchantment flash. When it comes into play, it deals 2 damage to any target, and then you can sacrifice it for mana and then scry 2.
Good.
And then unless you're playing devotion or enchantment kind of theme, I don't know if I like this, because isn't Magma Jet just like better at instant speed? Because that's colorless red instant.
This is instant speed.
But it's 2 damage, scry 2 right off the bat, and that's all you got to do. There's no extra investment. So
good point. Yeah.
That, again, maybe you play them together, but the only place that I've played Magma Jet would be like Riku of 2 Flames, where it's like spell based, and then being able to copy it, so you're dealing like 2 damage and 2 damage, scrying 2, 4. Scrying 2. That seems good. Here I can't copy it. You're not really in those blink colors.
So your least favorite of the Omens then, probably?
Yeah, probably.
You also get the Ox. He's pretty sweet.
Ox of Agonos. 3 colorless red for 4/2 Mythic Ox. Which feels weird to say. So when it enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. Then it has Escape, 2 red, exile 8 other cards.
Oh, I didn't realize it was 8. Holy balls.
And then Ox of Agonos escapes with only 1/1 counter on it.
It's more focused on the drawing part.
This card's bad.
Yeah.
No, this is just straight bad.
But what's good
and
is
I'm going to be proven wrong for sure on that. But those cards just aren't good. Like, there's a dragon that discards cards to draw 3. Like, it's not very good. Right.
Perforos, bronze-blooded, 4 and a red god. You god. Indestructible 7/6 as long as... Yeah, the devotion thing. Other creatures you control have haste. And then you can tap 2 and a red.
I missed that.
What, the other creatures?
Other creatures you control have haste.
Yeah. So it's because it's playing into this ability.
Yeah.
2 and a red, you may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. So this might be my revamping Ilhrog. So this seems pretty sweet. It's a lot. 5 for him to come up, but he's a 7/6.
He's a 7/6, yeah. And like, I've wanted to build. Doesn't matter. Cut this. Cut this. There's like enchantments of like whenever a creature comes into play, it deals damage to its power to any target type thing.
Oh, so like the thunderous. What is it called? Cut this whole part.
Cut it off. Shit.
It's the one that everybody plays. That enchantment that's red and 4 colorless. Right?
Well, red and 4 colorless, but there's also one at red and 3 colorless. Pandemonium. There we go. That's the one that I'm thinking of.
Keep this in. Keep this in.
Keep it in. Yeah. No, it's still bad entire area. All
right. Perforos's intervention. This is my least favorite intervention, but it's X and a red. Sorcery, which actually I didn't realize. I thought they were all instants, and now this is a sorcery. So I guess
but that'd be too good if they created a huge creature at instant speed that you had to sack at the end of somebody's turn. That'd be bad, right?
No, that'd
be so good. That'd be too good
for killing something. Yeah. Then this card might actually be. It would still be my least favorite. But you create an X1 elemental, red elemental, and then you have to sacrifice it. It has trample and haste at least, or you can deal twice X damage to target creature or planeswalker. God, this is a sorcery. Why is this a sorcery? Just dumb. All right, you do that next one. Let's just move on.
Storm's Wrath, 2 colorless red. Storm's Wrath deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Pretty bland, but I think it's kind of interesting too because it's almost like they've dealt that, like they've done they did 2 damage. They did that forever. Yeah. Then they're like, 2 damage. We've kind of like played that out. Let's go up to 3. So maybe we're into that, like 3's played out. Let's start doing 4 damage to everything.
I like it hits planeswalkers with it too.
Also true.
Teutonic Giant, 2 and 2 red. Creature elemental giant, 3/4. When it attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, choose 1. It either deals 3 damage to each opponent or exile 2 cards from your library. Choose one of them until the end of your turn, or end of your next turn. You may play that card, which is pretty sweet.
Dope. This card seems cool. Like a lot of utility
for red.
Yeah,
red's getting it.
Like I can see this going into like Rakdos, Lord of the Pits, where it like deals 3 damage and then all of your stuff is reduced by 9. Like that seems good, right?
And it's nice,
or just like card draw.
It's nice because it has that threat, like, hey, if I attack with this, I get to do this ability. And then if they go, okay, well, I want to kill it, at least you're getting one of these abilities. You know, you're able to do one of these. So, but it's only opponents, so it's not you can't target its opponents when it becomes a target of a spell. Next to Lowery.
Underworld Breach, colorless and a red for an enchantment. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach.
I like it. Bringing back shit.
This is really good, right?
Being able to
really good
late game in this is really good for red.
And even the exile cost of being 3 is pretty like minimal. And so, like the Ox that was like get rid of 8. Yeah, I want to get rid of 8 cards in my graveyard that I discarded like from my hand to draw 3 extra cards because I don't have any cards in my hand because of the damn Ox. I don't know.
Yeah, this is really good though.
This card seems really good. Yeah, it's just like pay 2 red, get back as many good cards from your graveyard as possible.
And they played it right where they didn't go and make this enchantment really expensive because
then you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah. It's just like, oh shit. But the fact it's 2, I mean, it gets sacrificed at the end of turn, but it's still a good card.
Like this, yeah. Love this card.
Do we have a spider general here? No, but it's a good 99.
Arasta of the Endless Web, 2 colorless, 2 green, 3/5 reach. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach.
It is also a legendary enchantment creature.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, but it's all right.
I thought you led with that a little bit.
Well, that's what I meant with that being a
makes a bunch of little
general.
Babies.
Yeah, it's decent in the 99.
Would you play this if there was like a lot of Spellslinger decks running around in our
a 1/2?
And you're just like, bam.
It'd be a lot better if those had Death Touch, but then you'd have to have a little black in there.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's real good card.
The Binding Titans, 1 and 1 green. Each player puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard. Oh, this is Saga, by the way. The second lore is Exile.
Saga.
Is that supposed to be like Sega?
Yeah,
Sega.
I was trying.
Exile up to 2 cards from graveyards for each creature card that was exiled this way, gain a life. And then the third one is target creature or land card in your graveyard or return. Reading's fun.
Catcher in the Rye is the best book ever. Not true.
Return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. I like that it gives you the ability to bring a land, so you can go get another fetch and put that in, go get some more stuff.
I honestly didn't pay attention to what you said, so.
All right, so Destiny Spinner is our next one. It is 1 and 1 green, enchantment creature, human, 2/3 creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. Woo! And then it has...
Which might be relevant in what we were talking about
for next week. Yeah, no, for sure. This fits in perfect because then it has another ability to it.
What?
3 and a green, target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. So you're getting that, hey, you can't counter my stuff, and then you're also potentially making your lands as attackers or blockers.
It's 2 mana for 2/3, which is solid. And your enchantments can't be countered, which is
and
great.
Creatures and enchantments.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And then you can pump a land, even though like generally this ability isn't really good. But if you had like 8 mana randomly open,
you can do it to 2 of them.
You just do it twice. Make it huge, right? I don't like the idea of having my like land potentially killed.
No, because it becomes an XX. So you choose 2 different ones. Yeah. So it would turn into
it's not
twice.
plus X.
But still, you get 2 of those
and this feeds into it. So no matter what, like it's an enchantment creature,
so
it'll at least be a 1/1, which would be a bad idea. Yeah. But
watch out. But it'd be a blocker if you needed it for some reason and not wanting this to die.
You know, like 2 years ago when they had the Planeswalker, you came out with 3 enchantment that were green, white, blue. This would probably fit in any of those decks pretty solidly, like Tuvasa or Kestia.
What about Kielbasa?
Kielbasas. Plan on having that for lunch tomorrow.
Lucky.
And then, this card seems
pretty solid.
Really good. And just like uncommon seems crazy.
Yeah, that's the part's nuts. But probably the most awesome card in this set, maybe. There's a couple of them that are up there. I love this card.
The crazy thing is I would put this probably top 5. I don't know. We still got to discuss that.
I love this card a lot.
Dryad of the Elysian Grove. 2 colorless green for a 2/4. 2/4 for 3. Solid. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. That's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
That's very similar to the Centaur from last one. But then lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types.
Son of a bitch. That's crazy.
What? So it fixes you.
Is it Prismatic Omen or something? Is that what
Prismatic Omen.
Which is like a $40 card now or something, isn't it? Or a $30 card?
Probably high 20s, low 30s,
but I want to say. That's an enchantment. It's 1 green and 1 colorless.
That does nothing else.
Yeah, this is a creature. It's also an enchantment for 1 more, and then you can play an additional land. I'll take this over that one.
Playing an additional land is really, really good.
It's just a freaking crazy good card. Love this card. Yeah. Want the full art of this one.
And then like Scape Shift with Valakut. Boom. You just have like more consistency.
This one, I like the flavor of this saga. It's the first Aronin games, and it's 2 and a green saga. Its first lore is create a 1/1 white human soldier token. The second one is put 3 counters on target creature you control. The third one is if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw 2 cards. So most likely that 1/1 is now a 4/4 and you're drawing 2. And then the last one, which it's the most worthless, but it's funny because it's supposed to look like the Olympian Games or whatever. So then the last one is create a gold token because your guy just won a gold medal.
Yeah, I mean, flavor-wise is pretty good, but I think this also like harkens back to the Wrath that we talked about. That's white, that everybody draws a card if you have creature of power 4 or greater. Like that's green's thing, not white's thing. So like white's like, oh, that's going to be our thing, but it also helps everybody. And you're like, oh, so white's just going to be worse.
Like still making bad cards for white.
Yeah, like that'd be great if white could do everything but worse than every other color. We could do that. Like you give me a like white counter target spell. That's potentially good, but you don't have that.
But then it has to do something really bad. So it's white.
Your
counter
opponent
target spell, and then they randomly get to choose this from the top 10 cards and put a card into play.
You sacrifice a land.
Yeah, there we go.
You got to just make like a drawback for white. And it's like, white's supposed to be the bad color.
What would be black's ability with white then that would make it bad? So it'd kill something. Although white does that.
You gain 2 life and lose 4 life. Like
you gain 2 life and lose 4 life.
That's like a white-black card. Draw 3 cards.
Mixes the 2. All right, you got the next 2. That guy.
Nessian Wanderer, colorless green 1/3. It's a satyr. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put a land into your hand, and the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order.
That's pretty sweet. Every time you play an enchantment?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That seems very consistent in getting lands into your hand. And then going back to the 2/4 that allows you to put another land into play. And like if you're just doing that in your deck, like that seems good.
Yeah. But you got to be playing with enchantments, which that's what the point
You got to be a little bit heavy. Yeah. But I love that they went heavier on Constellation in this set than they did in Born of the Gods. So
another god. Speaking of gods,
Nelia, Keen-Eyed, 3 colorless green 5/6 legendary enchantment creature god. Indestructible, has the devotion thing. Creatures you cast cost 1 less to cast, and then you can pay 2 colorless green, reveal a top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard.
To like surveil in a way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I like this because you can do it multiple times.
Creatures costing 1 less seems pretty solid.
Yeah. I guess the part that I don't like as much is that you're only revealing for 3. You're only revealing 1 card.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's
not good.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, what is the? There's that werewolf where you can pay 3 and reveal the top 3 and put a creature card.
Duskwatch Recruiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one puts it in the graveyard, which
you can get rid of stuff that you don't need at that point. Like if you don't need land, you just get rid of it. That's okay.
A little disappointing.
But what's not disappointing is Nylea's Intervention.
It's also a sorcery.
Oh, it is a sorcery. But 2 green, and X. Choose one. Search your library for up to X land cards. Reveal them. Chaos Cradle. Put them into your hand and then shuffle your library. Holy crap, that's awesome just by itself. And then we add this little bonus. When Nylea's intervention deals twice X damage to each creature with flying. So this is going to be my excuse of being like, no, the only reason this is in my deck is because it's my creature removal because I'm trying to kill those flyers.
But really, you're just going to go and try and... Would you pay 3 to just go and grab Cradle?
Fuck yeah. Would you not?
You don't.
Well, I know. I don't try to break. I'm just saying, would I? Yes, I would if I didn't want everybody to be targeting me. But the thing is sometimes you don't want to be the target all the time. So if I always got Gaea's Cradle, you know...
I don't understand that logic.
What?
I'm always the target.
Yeah. But I think this card's really friggin' good. I think it's my favorite maybe out of them for like how good it is. Am I going to use it? I don't know. What we kind of gotten like a little texting between.
No, I was on Twitter.
Was it on Twitter? Oh, I was on Twitter. No, but then we started
Bill from
texting.
Woodbury were there. Yeah.
Between number 2 and Trombley and talking about how this is potentially like a tutor in a way because it is. It's bringing it.
Yeah, that's true.
To your hand and not into play, and you're searching for. But the thing is that X part is sweet. Let's just take Gaea's Cradle out of the.
Do you consider fetches a tutor? I don't think we do. No. Even though we say we don't play with tutors.
No, that's more making your mana base proper. But the thing is, this is getting your utility lands.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tutoring for that. Hey, there's something that we need to target. Well, let's remove the hexproof. Get that land. What is it? Arcane Spotlight Lighthouse or whatever. Yep. Or I need something to make mine unblockable. I'll get this land. You know, there's so many utilities you can get. So it's kind of like a tutor because, like we talk about, we like to use utility lands that give us abilities of cards. So I just think it's really good because you can get multiples. It's not just getting that one. You're getting like, hey, I need 5 of the or 5
that's
different
7 lands in your hand. You probably have 1 land drop potentially that turn. Like, it seems like a lot of land. I don't know what the proper number would be. I can see like if I want to go and grab like
it'd probably
5
be 3
or like 3.
Yeah,
like,
I would say pay 5, get 3.
5, get 3.
Yeah,
that seems like a good number to be like, boom. Or like even 5 would deal 6 damage to flying creatures, which gets rid of your dragons that are out there. A lot of them. So that seems practical. That seems really practical.
Another amazing card.
Yeah, you got this one.
Nyx Bloom Ancient. 4, 3 green. Enchantment creature elemental. It's a 5/5 trample, guys. That's it. Nope. If you tap...
It has trample? I don't think I even saw that.
You saw this part and just focus.
Why does it have trample?
If you tap a permanent for mana... Any permanent. So include your soul rings. It produces 3 times as much that mana instead.
Soul rings produce 6 mana.
That's insane.
What?
And just your basic mana. I'm gonna tap my forest for 4 or for 3, and then it's just 3, 6. Like you don't have anything that does 3 times. This is
what the hell did they do this for?
Then you throw in your mana crypt. Mana Crypts, right? Where it gives you 3. You're tapping
that's
that
for... Or, Mana Crypt, but Mana Vault.
Mana Vault, that's what I'm trying to think
gives you 9.
9.
That's infinite mana.
Right, because then you untap it, and then it's insane.
Or Basalt Manolith goes infinite, or... I mean, just... Jesus, what are they doing? Like, the bounce lands give you 6 per land.
I told you bounce lands are awesome.
The filter lands get you 6. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I saw. Wasn't somebody tweeting about that or something?
Because I've worked with the green reflection that doubles, and I'm like, oh man, these give you 4. That's awesome. This gives you 6.
Yeah, that's pretty.
What are they doing? Like, just I would have played this card if 5/5 trample that just doubled land,
and then this
like just land.
I wouldn't. This is any permanent. Triple,
it's any permanent. One thing that I did see as well. So like Urza that you can tap, like an artifact for blue mana does not count because Urza is creating the mana, which is not tapping.
Oh, gotcha.
I believe that's how that kind of works. And so like, Seton, which is like tap a druid for a green, but it doesn't. I don't think that one works either. So it's kind of weird like that, where it's that permanent has to tap and be creating the mana.
Think of this in like a 3 to 4 color deck for Fabro.
Yeah.
Even a 5 color. Just if you get it to 5.
Get this into my just like tap. It's for 15. 3, and that's all right. Why not? Let's do this. Like it is 7 mana. And it's 3 green, but it just that power. Like number 2 was talking about like kicking a right of replication on this, which is easily done. Like it's 9. You're just tapping 3 mana to right of replication, kick this, and then every mana after that is like creating 700 plus. Just one land. Just like, what's going on?
Oh, this card's gonna get used a bunch. This card's gonna get expensive.
Super powerful.
All right, let's move on. The last of the Omens. I like this one a lot.
Omen of the Hunt, 2 colorless, green, enchantment, flash. When it comes into play, put a basic land into play, tapped from your library, and sack it to scry 2.
Seems solid. Putting tapping 3 to do that. How do we say her name?
Setessan
Champion.
Maybe
2 and a green. Human warrior 1/3. Has cancellation whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield. You put a 1/1 counter on her, and then you also draw a card. So that's pretty sweet.
So
how neat is that?
My suggestion to make white better is actually make white the enchantment.
Yeah.
The enchantment color.
Yeah, this does. Even like if you put the background of this to white, I can see that being a white card. You know, this fits as a white card.
Why is it green? No,
because
like,
it's drying.
One big thing is like my belief was like green was so good in Throne of Eldraine. I was like, you know what? I can see them each set, since it's singular, like emphasizing on a color, and by the end they're all kind of balanced out a little bit. I was like, this should be a white powerful. Green is still crazy powerful, and people, you can see it, and they're kind of sick of it on Twitter, at least.
I'm not.
but even so, it'd be nice for a little bit of balance. But like, I always go back to like the Urza Saga's lands are a big thing in my mind that create like identity of colors. So like Gaia's Cradle is creatures. Sarah's Sanctum is enchantments. And why is there only Mesa Enchantress that draws me cards off of enchantments in white, and then there's like 4 others in green for enchantments? It's like, I feel like if you just pushed enchantments into white, like a solid white color, you're fine.
They just don't like white.
Yeah, like, blue's enchantment, like red's kind of artifact now. Blue and red are kind of artifacts, and that's perfectly fine. Red is clearly burn. That's what they do. Black is like recursion and sacrificing. Like those colors work, but for some reason, green has enchantments as well, which just doesn't make sense when it comes to it. Should like white should just have enchantments in the pie. And again,
maybe they just want to share it because, like you just said, with red and blue are kind of the artifacts, so you got to have 2 colors.
But what does white have? They have life gain.
Shittier stuff. Yeah, that's it.
That's what it. Yeah, great.
Don't try and save white. It's
good job. No, that's all you had to do though. Is just like give white the good enchantment abilities, because white is still like, how many mono green enchantment decks do you want to build?
It's mono green.
Not a thing. Well, okay, mono color, but like mono white feels like that's where you should have your enchantment deck. And you just can't really make it a mono white enchantment deck. So that, like, if you just gave them more enchantment support in an enchantment block like set, you'd be fine. God damn it, Wizards!
Grinding Lowery's gears in a year. Lowery,
you got this next one.
Nope, you have it.
I can't read it. Too small. Too many words.
Allure of the Unknown.
I don't even want to read this next one.
You want me to just read? Lowry's drunk. He can't read anymore.
No, three little.
And a black and a red. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them. Then you put the rest into your hand. So you get 5 cards. That opponent may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So there might be a downfall with that. But you can make some buddies and be like, hey, how about I do this to you? You can take whatever card you want there. But I mean, that's really what you're going to do. I mean, just don't screw me over and I won't use these 5 cards against you. This seems...
Like Witchclaw Talisman or like the...
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I don't know if I'll play it unless I made a themed deck that I'm doing that, trying to...
I think it depends on what deck it goes into, too. Like, if you know that this is like potentially an underpowered deck, where you need to...
But you need the pieces for it to work, and then whatever they take is not going to be like game-winning. Like, they're not getting a Cyclonic Rift or something from your hand. I mean, you're playing Black-Red at that point, probably not having Cyclonic.
Probably not. But like, if you're just like, God, we got to get rid of this card.
Mm-hmm.
You and me, whatever this 6 shows up, you are removing that for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we get that chance, it's like, yeah, golden. Like, it feels like a really nice political card.
Yeah, that's it. That's the politics.
And so that you're hoping instead, like, what if they're like, well, the best thing to do is just wrath the board. And you're like, fuck, I don't want to wrath the board, but do whatever you want because that's what you can do. So
but I would not, like you said, I would not play this in a deck that has game winners that they could get.
Yeah. Yep. Like Allure of the Unknown into Creative of Behemoth. Even though they would it would just waste your game winner and give them some pretty big blockers. But that would not be fun.
Atris? I said it the same way twice. Atris?
Atris. You're like a teacher doing roll call.
Atris.
Are you here, Atris? Where are you?
Is there an Aaron? Oracle of Half-Truths. 2 black-blue legendary creature, human advisor, 3/2 with menace. When Atris enters the battlefield, target opponent loses... Nope. Target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one of those into your hand and the other in the graveyard. This is interesting because are they showing you like maybe it's a really good card they're showing you, and then the face-down one it's a worse card, or they could be playing mind games with you. You know what I'm saying? Are they hiding what the really good card is, or are they trying to make you think that there's a better card under there when in actuality the really good card's face up? So you can do some funny things with this. Again, I'm
going to face up Cyclonic Rift and face down 2 so that you don't know.
It's like, what's than Cyclonic?
2? Yeah, this feels like what's behind door number 1, number 2, and we'll show you what's number 3. Yeah. You're like, number 3 is an amazing vacation to the Bahamas. But what's behind 1 and 2?
That's that Family Guy bit. That used to be my voicemail. I was like, you can have the boat or the mystery box. And then Lois is like, oh, we'll definitely take the boat. He's like, no, Lois, you don't get it. The boat's a boat, but the mystery box can be anything. Like, well, it could even be a boat. You know how much we wanted one of those. Well, then let's take we'll take the box. And then it's just like a gift card or something. It's like, you said we'll take the box. That show is so fucking awesome. The boat can be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we wanted one of those.
Bronze Hide Lion. Green, white, 3/3. And then you can, it's a cat, rare. Activated ability of green, white, and then it gains indestructible until end of turn. And then if Bronze Hide Lion dies, return it as an aura, attaches something that you can pay a green, white, and it is indestructible and loses all abilities until end of turn.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a really cool design.
Coming back as an aura.
Yeah, coming back as an aura. I like where it started. Like, this is a really good card in the cat tribal deck. Yeah. Let's think about that right there.
I guess the part that is difficult for me is like you're putting this in kind of as your protection for whatever your commander is. But in order to do that, you got to get it killed, And so if people see that, they're not going to try to kill it.
Yeah, why would you want the indestructible ability
on
it?
Because it happens immediately. It's not like, okay, I can choose in my graveyard at any point to attach it to something. It's when this dies, it goes right away.
And so if somebody wraths and you didn't make it indestructible, or like if there's not a creature on board for you to attach it to, it's done.
So you have to have a way that you're killing it, you're sacrificing it to be able to really take advantage, because they're going to see that hey, I want my commander to survive. I'm going to attack you with my 3/3 cat. Don't block it. I really want this. Oh, darn, it went. Now my guy's indestructible. Like you're going to see it ahead of time. I don't know.
Calyx, Destiny's Hand, 2 colorless, green-white, Planeswalker, 4 loyalty.
Get a little closer.
It's +1 is look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom random. You can -3 this, exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you do control leaves the battlefield. Or you -7 it, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think this is more interesting from the story point. Do you know what's going on with that? So apparently this Calyx character was created by a god or two. And created beings in the Magic multiverse can't get a spark. So like Memnarch, like angels are created beings and stuff like that. They can't get a spark.
Well, how did Sarah Angel?
Sarah Angel is not. Sarah's not an angel.
But it says angel. Oh no, it says Sarah.
It's Sarah's angel. So it's the angel of Sarah.
What are you doing? Like Jesus. In the middle like, what are you doing? Stop it.
But like the big argument is like Karn. Karn's a robot created being, but he was given a spark, which is different than having, like, it sounds like Calyx here had his spark go off, which confuses a lot of people. This set doesn't have a true story with it at all. They kind of gave you blurbs with certain cards. And so people are kind of like, what's going on story-wise with this card? Because nobody really understands. And there is not going to be an explanation. There's no stories.
Cool story.
Fuck you. Card seems fine. Again, it's green-white.
More time with man.
I was just going off of what I was hearing and understood.
I dig it. So how do you get a spark?
No, I don't fucking know.
No,
he just had it. Like, he shouldn't even have one. Versus, I don't even know why he got it. Because I think it was actually really vague. And it's like, and then his spark went off. And they're like, how the fuck did it go off? Why the fuck does he have it? And everybody talks in very high pitches. When
I was just about to make a comment to that. That's one of my favorite bits I've cut up. And I haven't gotten to the point of using it as one of our sounders. But it's that when I talked about it the other week when I spilled the beer. You're like, what the fuck? And then I have a scream for some reason going, oh! All right. Dalakos, crafter of wonders. Like 1 red and blue legendary creature, merfolk artificer, 2/4 tap to give you 2 mana, or if you have the green dude out, gives you 6. Spend this mana to only cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. This is the cool part. Equipped creatures you control have flying and haste. So that's friggin' sweet. I like that a lot. Because then you don't need to get those damn equipment that gives your guys haste or anything. It already has it when you equip stuff.
So this is like another weird card. Because like equipment is more like red-white. But this is red-blue.
Well, it's because you don't want to give white anything.
Again, that's what it feels like. And so, like, it feels like this would have been one of the best equipment in red-white, like, equipment commanders that you could have done. In red-blue, you're just like,
okay.
I like that it gives it that, like, that angle. Because red-blue is so, like, spell slinger heavy. So I like that they went this route. But again, it feels like this is an enchantment. Like this, I wish, again, this is me wishing, which never comes true, but feels like white should have been the priority
instead
in the
of
set.
the blue in there. Yeah. One thing that white does have is the next card, but it shares it. Dream Traveler or Trawler. 2 white, 2 blue. It's a Sphinx 3/5 flying lifelink. Whenever you draw a card, it gets 1/0 until end of turn. When it attacks, you draw a card, and then you can discard a card and give it hexproof and then tap it. So pretty much the turn that you attack with it, it's a 5/5 flying lifelink. And then at that point,
you draw a card.
And you draw a card because you draw that from attacking. So this is just a really good card. I like it.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I was like, I'm pretty meh on it, but didn't realize that it gained +1/+0 whenever you drew and drawing. Like, this was pretty close to Prognostics Sphinx without looking it up. But that's like, it scries 3 when it attacks. You can discard a card. It gains hexproof. Does not have hex lifelink. This card just seems better in a blue-white deck.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, and so like we were talking, like Brainstorm, instant speed, turns into an 8/5 flying lifelink. Like, that seems good. Seems really good.
Pretty legit. All right, you have another long one to read here.
God damn it. This one it's super interesting, but I don't know what to do with it. Enigmatic Incarnation.
Isn't
2 colorless.
Enigmatic?
Enigmatic. That's weird that you corrected me.
Well, just I didn't see an S in
what
there.
What did I say?
Like, enigmastic. Yes, I got to correct.
Chewing.
Yes. It's a win for me when I get to correct you on reading.
Not used to that. So 2 colorless green-blue enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice enchantment's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Interesting.
Probably not enough.
No, it's interesting that you're not like, you're sacrificing an enchantment and not going to get another enchantment. It's sacrificing the enchantment to go get a creature.
Yeah,
so it's
weird in that regard. It'd be kind of nice. Like, I'd much more like to play this if you could sacrifice itself to go get something like a creature of 5, because then you're like, okay, I want either this, or this in these situations. But you need this plus other enchantments to go get potential creatures. Like, it feels like a lot more work, and it feels like it's just too much.
Oh man, we still have a lot of cards. Not a lot. All right, we're gonna go through these other ones. These ones rather quickly.
Oh, really?
Utopia, the twice favored. 1 green, blue, legendary creature, human wizard, uncommon, 2/2. Consolation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. Pretty interesting. Enchantment deck again. No white in there. There's no white in there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to other creatures or like other colors, I guess, a little bit, but meh.
Then we have the Satyr legendary creature.
Galia of the Endless Dance, red, green, 2/2 haste. Satyrs you get +1/+1.
And haste.
And haste. And whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you can discard a card randomly and
draw 2.
This is not the Satyr legend you were looking for.
Nope. Next one.
Haktos, the Unscarred. 2 red, 2 white, 6/1. Attacks each combat if able, and Haktos enters the battlefield. Choose 2, 3, or 4 at random. So it's not even...
Yeah. It's random.
Random. That's bad. Haktos. Not even a good one.
Damn near killed him. Rakdos
has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number. So the random part is bad because then you can't even design your deck to benefit. Next.
We have a multicolor god, Clothis.
He wears
Clothis. He has a lot of Clothis all around him. Clothis, god of destiny. 1 red and green, 4/5 indestructible. The devotion is the 7 or less when you have the 2 colors. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a land, add red or green. Otherwise, you gain 2 life, and it deals 2 damage to each opponent. For a 3-drop, that's interesting.
It's like a really slow Deathray Shaman.
Yeah.
Or really slow Scavenger Ooze.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't do multiples. It's just each
one
turn. Boop.
I guess
gone.
like you want to do like the Strionic Resonator to like get 2 of them. But that's like the only thing that helps.
It's interesting. A 3-drop god that has an okay ability.
And it's weird that it's like green-red. That's graveyard hate.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been green-white.
Look at you just breaking it.
I'm just kidding.
God dang. Well, let's get into something that's more exciting. The Titans, the release of the Titans in this. We have different Titans.
I don't like this one.
Yeah, but it's still interesting. I like these abilities with it, but it's Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. It's black and red.
Do you think it's Croza? Could be Croza.
Maybe.
I don't fucking know. There's an X there. Nobody knows how X is. How you like xylophone? Who says it's like that?
You can tell Larry's been drinking. It's a 6. You know what I am pissed about is that X's don't get enough words. Like, what is going on there? We need things. And even when you get an X with a word, it doesn't even sound like what it is. You make it a Z. A xylophone, that's not an X.
Do you think Atraxas actually said like Atraza? It could be.
I think that X joke is from...
you motherfucker, you pulling that from somewhere?
I think it's Mitch Hedberg, actually. Because he goes, Zzz, I don't get it. X isn't given enough stuff. Xylophone. that's not an X, it's Z. All right, so anyways, he's back to the card. 6/6.
How do you spell zoo? Is it XOO?
That isn't even a good joke.
I laughed.
Cool story, Hazel.
So it's a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it was escaped. Its escape cost is 2 black and 2 red. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard, and then it can come into play. But its ability when it does enter is it enters the battlefield or attacks, which is cool because that's the Titan thing that like Primeval Titan had and everything. Each opponent discards a card, and then each opponent that wasn't able to discard a card loses 3 life. So this is the weaker of the 2, but it's still a 2-drop. Each opponent discards a card, and then if you're able to escape it, late game 6/6 comes into play. They do it again, and then you attack with it, and it's continuously discarding a card or losing 3 life if they can't discard. And it isn't a choose. It's just they check it to see if they have the cards in their hand. If they do, they have to discard it. They can't go, I want to take 3 life. It's you discard, and then if you don't discard, you lose 3 life.
And it is about a non-land card as well. So, like, even if they discard a card, right?
It's not non-land. It's just they discard. Oh, you're saying didn't discard.
Anyone who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses. So if you discarded a land card, you would still lose 3 life.
That's interesting.
That's a little bit different, yeah. So and then again, if they can't discard, they lose 3 life as well. So
I did see them. This was they're testing out the Titans. I think we're going to see more of these coming soon.
But when?
I know, because it won't fit in the god
Are they the big
deck.
bad guys? I think that'd be cool.
Like taking over Nicol Bolas' spot?
Yeah. And Eldrazi. And yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. But I doubt it.
What if that's the Eldrazi? What if they take over when we get to the Eldrazi set?
Doubt it. So a cool way of kind of looking at this a little bit is almost like this is like an evoke,
exactly.
red, black. Then everybody discards a card, and then later on you have that escape ability to be able to bring it back. That seems really cool. Like
this is not your commander. This is a 99.
No, I would fucking play this as my commander.
You would?
Yeah.
You would?
I don't know if I am, but I would. Yeah, for sure I would. But I would put this in my Xantra deck. That's like based around discarding cards.
I would like this more in my 99 than playing a... I mean, you could try. Try, Lowery.
Tell me what I can do or not do. Just depends on whatever I pull in the box.
Let's get to the 3-headed dog from Harry Potter. Fluffy.
Gunoris, Hound of Athreos,
colorless, fluffy,
colorless white-black, 3/3 vigilance, menace, lifelink. This is a legendary creature, Hound. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. So
graveyard shut down.
Yeah, that's sweet. And it has a lot of words. Vigilance, menace, lifelink for 3/3 for 3.
Remember how we talk about Lowery likes to play a lot of stuff from his graveyard? This is an anti-Lowery card right here.
It's a pretty solid hate card.
Yeah.
I would say, especially if you're just running it as like black-white is pretty good for hate cards anyway, but
a 3-drop 3/3 vigilance, menace, and lifelink is good by itself right there.
Sweet.
All right, Mischievious Chimera, a blue and red enchantment creature. Chimera, 2/2, flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you scry 1. So interesting.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool for just red-blue. It's an uncommon. Pelucranos, Unchained, 2 colorless black-green, comes into the battlefield with 6/1/1 counters, and then if you escaped it, it comes in with 12 +1/+1 counters. If damage would be dealt to Pelucranos while it has +1/+1 counters on it,
prevent that damage
and remove that many +1/+1 counters from it, and then you can pay a colorless black-green, and it fights target creature. And then the escape cost is 4 colorless, green-black, exile 6 other cards from your graveyard.
So the cool thing with this is Vigor.
Vigor or Rite of Passage.
And the cool thing with Vigor is I was seeing somebody was clarifying the prevent damage thing. It never gets dealt the damage, so it never loses the counters. It keeps gaining counters.
You get to choose which
order. Yeah. And so it's never going to lose counters. It's just going to keep gaining counters. So you're fighting something, killing it. It gets bigger. You attack with it. Keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Just ridiculous.
Vigor's a crazy card in general.
Yeah.
But here, it's great. Pelucranos seems really, really cool.
And it's a legendary creature, so this could be a commander you fart around with.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
stupid.
That's a bad one. You okay?
The sweet card is the next Titan. This is the best Titan because there's only 2, and this one's better.
Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, colorless green-blue. It's a 6/6, and then when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless it escaped.
Same as before, the other one.
Whenever it ETBs or attacks, you get to gain 3 life, draw a card, and then you can put a land card from your hand into play. Then it has escape, green, blue, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard.
This is just dumb. It's so good.
It's okay. No,
whatever. 3 to do the first, like just as a spell by itself. Drawing a card, playing a land, gaining 3 life. Like that's decent by itself. That's what is a growth spiral that does all that.
Green, blue. But you don't gain a life, but it's instant speed.
That's what
explore.
The gaining the life whites thing. They make that colorless. See?
Yeah, motherfucker.
But then you're able to escape this, bring it into play. Late game, mid late game.
Later.
Yeah, and then that keeps doing it. Like this is going in every green and blue deck. It
seems like just really, really good just utility.
Yeah.
Like this is 99. So I don't know if you remember this because you checked out in this game, but I played when we kind of played around with the rule of using Planeswalkers as our commander.
Okay.
I played a Kiora Master of Waves deck.
Mm-hmm.
And you can minus it, and then you get to draw a card, put a land into play. And so I was ramping really hard, playing Moloku, bringing lands back into my hand, being able to replay them with Kiora and the Moonfolk, Patron of the Moonfolk or whatever. So you guys checked out of the game because I kept on doing stuff. Just my turns were forever. And you and Tyson would just turn around and like, are we dead yet? No, you'd be like, are we dead yet? Because I did so much. I'm like,
no. I'm just playing.
And so this, I think, allows me to just recreate that deck without, with a legal commander. And that's what I want to do. Because it looks like fun.
Oh, good for you.
Cool story, Hansel.
That was me.
That was me, the cool story. That's just a ridiculous card. I want one at least.
Yeah, agreed.
Staggering Insight. It is white and blue aura enchant creature. Enchant creature gets 1/1, has lifelink, and whenever it deals damage to a player, draw a card. Combat damage. Yeah, sorry. So you can't do the tap and
card. Yeah.
So pretty ridiculous. Siona, Captain of the Playas. Peleas. 1 green, white. This is what we were talking about earlier with that the enchantment.
Don't look at me.
The
I don't
aura.
know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do, you fucker. But so this is a 2/2. It's a legendary creature. It's an uncommon human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put or reveal an aura card from them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So that enchantment that kind of blew up this week, when a creature comes into play, you may attach that to it. So
and it gives it indestructible.
Yeah, and so what happens is you look at your top 7, you pick out that aura if you have it in your hand, you play that, and then it's a you may attach it, so you don't go infinite and tie the game.
But you can attach it to the new token, which creates another token, which
attach it to that, and it keeps doing it until you get
as many as you want.
500 1/1s.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So we're getting down to the end here. So what
Altar of the Pantheon, 3 colorless manalith, so you can tap it for any color.
And also gain a life when you do that.
But if you control a god or demigod or legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. So, and then it also adds a devotion to each color of each combination of colors is increased by 1.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I like it as a monolith style.
Nyx Lotus. This thing is awesome. 4 legendary artifact. Nyx Lotus enters the battlefield tapped. But tap, choose a color, add an amount of color to your mana equal to that devotion.
Yeah, so I look at this pretty similar to like Nykthos.
For sure, the land.
So like 1 color, 2 color decks highly suggest this,
Once you start getting to 3,
your devotion, you got to start looking at what your permanents are doing, and because even like 4 mana comes into play tapped, it just might be a little too slow. But if you have a lot of permanents that are varying, so like a Wrath doesn't just like kill Nyx Lotus, because like if you're just creature heavy that has a lot of mana symbols, like with like a Yawgmoth deck, but if somebody Wraths, then it does shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because then you have nothing there.
So like you got to worry a little bit about that. But if you're like mono black, but you have a good variation of like enchantments, creatures, stuff like that. So
that you get, even if you get a board wipe, you can still use it.
Yeah, I think that's. But if you're going to
if
3
you don't
colors,
use it, you lose it. That's
exactly
what I was told. All right, last 2 cards, Lowery. One of your favorites, and this is friggin' sweet.
Yeah, Shadow Spear. It is a legendary artifact equipment. 1 colorless to come into play. Equipped creature you control gets +1/+1, has trample and lifelink. Its equip cost is 2. You can pay 1 and permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Love that. Like
what?
That is pretty ridiculous for tapping 1. And it's not target opponent, it's all your opponents. So you just need to tap 1 and boom, all of your opponents.
And it's just all your opponents too, because like I can see this hitting you as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And it doesn't have to be equipped to like.
That's what I was about to say. It's like you don't even need to use this as equipment. This can just be
1
a card.
And 1.
Yeah.
And that's a solid card.
Well, because I like that green one. It's something Bonds of Mortality. I believe that's what it is. It's
something right around there.
Yeah. But I spec'd on that early, but
that was one of our first ones.
Yeah. I have a lot of those that are not really worth that much. But the reason I liked it is because there wasn't a lot of things that remove hexproof and indestructible. There isn't a lot that removes indestructible, and this is kind of sweet that it gets around that.
I'm really high on this. I love this card
for
as
sure.
an equipment.
The one that you're not as high on,
Labyrinth of Scophos. It's a land, taps for a colorless, and you can pay 4, tap it, remove target attacking or blocking creature from combat.
So it's your Maze of Ith, but not killing Maze of Ith, because then they make it so that you have to tap 4 to do it, where Maze of Ith, you tap a creature, or tap it, remove target attacking creature from combat. This, they make the 4 on there, but then they make it so the land is actually usable. That's the problem with Maze of Ith. That isn't part of your land count. It's just a card that you're removing an attacking creature from combat, so it doesn't get through. You probably aren't going to use this.
Right. No, so there's a card called Mystifying Maze, which is like remove target attacking creature, and then
but this also adds blocking,
and that's the only little wrinkle here, and I don't care. like because I don't know, I don't like it.
All right. Well, that was our set review. How long did we go? What do you think? I haven't even looked at the time.
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, we are right at 2 hours.
Boom.
Holy shit.
I checked.
All right. Let's wrap this up.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Next week's episode is episode 100. We do something special. No, we don't. It's just a normal episode. Yeah, so you guys
spoilers. What are you doing?
Well, next week's episode, we discuss counter spells and what is the problem. Well, what's up with... Oh, wait.
What's up
with problem?
What's up with that?
The problem with counter spells. So that'll be an interesting episode to check out.
But I thought we had one really good point. So
there's a lot of them in there. All right. We will check you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.